Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to share different opinions from different industry. And thank you very much for the invitation we have from the organizer of this event. So you may know that Huawei as an ICT equipment provider, and you may know that Huawei as a consumer devices provider like smartphone, tablet, laptops, etc. And Huawei is also very active in the energy domain, which we are talking about the renewable energy generation and also the energy efficiency industry. In Europe, we have very let's say, important two strategies, which is first digitalization, of course, and the second is about the energy evolution. So my topic today will be a little bit deep dive in the energy sector and for the evolution in the future and how we can utilize our ICT technology and how we can combine this digitalization of Europe and the energy transformation of Europe together. So we are trying to build a low-carbon smart society. And we know that the carbon neutrality is the trend in the world. In China, we have 2060 for the carbon neutrality. And in Europe, we have Green Deal 2050. And in the US, we have 2050 for the carbon neutrality also. But how is the challenge from the carbon neutrality in different industry? First, we know that the power, electricity, consumes 40% of the carbon emission. And then the second largest industry is the transportation industry, which consumes 21% of the whole carbon emission. And for all other industries, like us, the ICT industry, and other industries, we consume around 20% of the carbon emission, which in our ICT industry, roughly 2 to 5% of the energy consumption in different countries. In some countries, we have 5% of the energy consumption from the ICT industry, and some countries we have 2% of the energy consumption from our ICT industry. So how we can solve all those carbon neutrality challenges? So we have four strategies to match the carbon neutrality strategy. The first one is the green power generation. The second one, as I said, that in different industry we have different strategy. So green ICT is the second pillar. And the third one, of course, is the green travel. We are talking about the EV, electrical vehicles, and the charging system in the future. And the last one is the integrated smart cities for the carbon neutrality. So the main topic for the carbon neutrality is that how we can solve the carbon emission in the power generation part and how we can make more electrification in different industries. And the second challenge we have to solve is that everybody knows the energy prices in Europe are extremely increased in the past 1 or 2 years. And we see that the price comparing 2 years ago, now we have double or triple price comparing to 2020. And also the residential price in different countries are significantly different. In Germany and in Austria, the price the residential was increased 4 times and 5 times comparing to 2 and 3 years ago. But while we're lucky in Hungary, we have relatively stable price for the residential part. The same situation applicable in Poland. And the resources challenging for our energy is very challenging also. You see that we have a very high price for the gas comparing to 2 years ago. We have triple price level comparing to 2 years ago. And according to the EU, Renewable Power EU and the Fit for 55, the forecast for the gas price will never go back to 2019 and 2020. The price in the future will still, 3 times more than 2020. So based on the price of the fuel and the price of the renewable sources, our electricity price will be still 2 to 6 times more than 2020 until 2030. That brings a lot of challenges to different industries. So how the Renewable Power EU will help our EU energy independence, dependence by 2027. So first that we have to make more renewable energy generation. And second, we have to optimize the power efficiency in different industry to make a green industry. And thirdly, we have to save energy consumption in our household, in our factories, in our offices, and in different industries. So you see that the investment from the renewable power EU infrastructure, that 30% will be going to the renewable energy generation, and 20% will go to the power efficiency, and around 14% will go to the green industry. And I will go quickly about the energy part, and I will go to some trend in the future. The EU solar industry that will have first the speeding solar deployment, second to ensure the sustainable development of the whole industry, and third to increase the global cooperation. We know that the supply for the renewable energy supply shortage is a big challenge in all the industry. And after that, we have to enable a rich, skilled workforce. Now the renewable energy industry, the workforce and the talents over there are very limited. So the trend and how the trend will affect our ICT business, how the trend will affect our digitalization. So I will go through. The first, you may know that 90% of the renewable energy will be the main contribution to the power in 2025. So mainly from the wind and the solar. So wind will have 6,000 gigawatt capacity installed, and for solar we will have more than 8,000 gigawatt capacity installed in 2025. And the cost of the renewable energy, of course, will be decreased a lot because of the high demands and because of the massive deployment in the future. Although the price of the renewable energy will be decreased and will be lower than the traditional energy generation, but the price of the electricity will be still going up, as I said before, 2 to 6 times. We see in different countries we have different subsidy program. In some countries and a lot of countries, we now don't need subsidy program for the renewable energy generation already. That means our cost of the renewable energy generation is lower than the traditional power generation industry already. And the third, we will see a lot of like the different prices during the day, like peak prices and also off-peak prices and volatile prices. What does this mean? The prices, the different prices will push the power consumption of different industries in different time. It's a free market. If you have a higher price, you have to use it less. If you have a lower price for the electricity, you have to use it more. But what this means to different factories and different residentials, and we cannot control it manually. But how we can utilize our ICT technology and digital technology to make all the control of the energy consumption be more efficient. So the energy storage is also a key for the control of the energy consumption and for the control of the energy prices. Our estimation that in the future, more and more residential will have self-consumption and self-storage for the energy, and more industries, more and more companies will have their own solar panel and have their own storage to control their energy consumption. But they need the digital technology to control their energy generation and their energy consumption. And they need those kind of a battery management system and those kind of cloud system to manage a lot of distributed energy generation and a lot of distributed energy storage. In the past, we have a big power plant centrally and make the supply and the transmission to different locations. But in the future, all those kind of a generation power will be distributed in different sites, in different households, in different factories, and all the storage of the power will be there also. So the digitalization and the intelligence tools are very important for the industry. And we know that in the future, all the cars will be electrified, and we'll have more and more EV cars in the future. And the batteries, electrochemical energy, like the battery we have now in the EV car, will be more and more demanding in the future. And we'll also need to manage the power, and we also need to manage the consumption in the car. In Huawei, we have an EV car business unit to make the communication between car and people, and to make the communication between people and people, and also the communication for the batteries or the energy consumption inside the car. So the trend 4, we're talking about the electrification of all the industries. The EV transportation part is very important. The difficulties for the transportation electrification is about the charging system. Now we only have this is the data in 2019. We have around less than 20,000 charging stations in Europe. Now the data could be like say 50,000 to 100,000, but still we need more than the data now is around 20 to 20,000 charging stations in Europe. We need more than 100,000 charging stations in the next 2 to 5 years. We have the experience in the past to change the copper to fiber in different locations and in our home. But now if you want to change in the charging points, if you want to install the charging points in different parking and different municipalities, you need to upgrade the system of the grid, and you need to upgrade the system of the communication. So how we communicate all those charging points and all those EV cars in the future, that's a challenge for our industry in ICT. And in the end, I see that the trend, we have a lot of the power consumption and electricity price for us in different industries are changing, increasing significantly. And how we can solve our problem, how we can solve the challenges to all our partners, all our customers by using different technologies and to control a different time power consumption and to optimize the efficiency of the power usage is very important. There is just an example that we have done a lot of practices with different telecom carriers to save the power. So I will skip the presence and the history we have in all the world and the contribution we made in Hungary together with our partners. And I hope my view from the energy sector, a little deep dive, will help each other to understand more about the relationship between the digitalization strategy of Europe and the energy evolution strategy of Europe. Thank you.